Now, this is the 8th year of the Shanghai Masters and the only ATP 1000 Series tournament not played in Europe or North America. As the feature event of the Asian Swing, it was named the Masters Tournament of the Year for 5 consecutive seasons, starting from 2009. Earlier, the tournament director, Michael Levano, sat down with Mike Fox to discuss what makes his event so good.
Without this man, everything you see behind me wouldn't be possible. Michael Levano has been in China for over 20 years and been recognized for his contributions to the country. As the director of the Shanghai Masters, he has been tasked with giving Chinese tennis a new identity, and he thinks sky's the limit. You came into China a long time ago, and you've been tasked with giving tennis a new identity almost. Do you think you've done that?
With humility, I would say yes, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I started staging events in China since 1995. However, I was based in Hong Kong. So I have seen the development, have been the pioneer, have taken a few arrows, if you will. But I think in terms of tennis, given how tennis is a very traditional and slow-moving and development sport here in China, it's unprecedented what has happened in really the short time that it's actually been here.
And you have huge ambitions for this tournament in particular.
Absolutely.
What is realistic?
I think by 2019 that the event will become a 10-day event with a larger draw, a 96 draw. We'd like to add an element, almost a element of what we call the man slam, which would bring in legends for a celebration men's tennis.
What do you think for the future of tennis in China? Now, would you like to see more international recognition come to China for the tournaments? When we see the big media companies pick up on the tournaments here, give it more coverage? Or would you like to see the development of Chinese players more so that they make their own ground on the international tournaments elsewhere around the world?
I'd probably have to say the latter, certainly for the men. I believe the women have already achieved great things in the sport, and depth in the sport, and with the women's players. Certainly Li Na is the standout there. So I think focusing on the competitive elements of the men's game to try and get a top 100 player, realistic goals. I mean, Wu Di beat Pablo Cuevas on Monday night, and he's 19 in the world. So it's feasible. So a lot of, and this is pretty much the most commonly asked question of me generally in the media, is when are we going to have a Chinese Li Na? I mean, I think that's ambitious. We should have a little more realistic goals. But someone like Wu Di, once again, proves that it's possible. So I think that is kind of the priority, and then the building the events will come naturally. And if that happens, then you will see an explosion of the general population, like when Li Na or even Yao Ming for basketball. That's what will happen naturally.
I want to touch on your career in the music industry as well. I understand you've done a lot of promotional work for some of the biggest acts in the world, such as the Rolling Stones. How different is it from backstage at a Rolling Stones concert to being behind the scenes at the tennis? I bet it's more slower, am I right?
Well, the music industry is incredibly intense, and with so much at stake riding on a 3-hour concert, it has a different dynamic than tennis, of course. All the elements to producing very high level events or very high profile events are similar, but I think with music it has a much more pointed intensity from the moment the artist lands to when you go on sale, because that's generally your margin in terms of a P&L. And I honestly say, in all the different type of projects I think I've ever done and promoted, hear a band, the Rolling Stones or Elton John or Tiesto or whatever the artists that we've chose to produce, when they hit that first note, it's an amazing rush of adrenaline that you've accomplished something, almost relief, but adrenaline as well, that is quite unlike sports, to be honest.
So with touring and running tennis events, you don't get much time with family?
Family is in the music business with me. They're with me every step of the way. I mean, my daughter is an aspiring and accomplished musician herself, vocalist and guitarist. My son is a drummer, and he plays tennis very well. So they're both 14 and 15, respectively. And the wife keeps us all together, and she's also a corporate executive. So we have a lot in common in terms of understanding one another's business, but also understanding the importance of family, but it's all integrated.
Okay, well, I wish you all the best with both.
Thank you.